I'm Allison Gormly, and thanks for joining me. Now imagine scoring hot concert tickets and then getting locked out of your account by a scammer. That's what's happening to some people. Ahead, how you can try to protect your concert and sporting event tickets. And if you're looking to get a real ID, there are extra hoops you may need to jump through to get it. I'll tell you why you might want to start that process now. Plus, the holiday season can be pricey. The tools to make sure you're getting a good price on airline tickets. Here's what's the deal with your consumer headlines and more. It was a dream come true for a viewer. She scored Taylor Swift concert tickets at face value. So imagine the shock she got when her email came along and said that those tickets were transferred out of her account by a scammer. Savannah Van Skyhawk was excited to see Taylor Swift in November. Then her 4 tickets vanished.
Took my tickets, transferred them elsewhere, and then I couldn't get back into my Ticketmaster account.
She bought them more than a year ago, one of the lucky ones paying face value.
We paid about $300 per ticket, and I've seen resale value of between like $4 or $5 grand per ticket. So we weren't gonna be able to afford another ticket if we didn't get these ones back.
Immediately, Van Skyhawk said she reached out to Ticketmaster multiple times for close to 3 weeks.
They would just tell me, like, we'd call you in 3 to 5 days. So I'd wait 3 to 5 days, and they wouldn't call me, so I'd try calling them again, and then again they'd say 3 to 5 days. It was just kind of a circle, like no one ever called me.
The mastermind behind the hoax also appeared to post her tickets on a resale site.
It's the same section, the same row, but it didn't list the seat number, but what are the odds, you know?
When we contacted Ticketmaster on her behalf, Van Skyhawk's account and tickets were restored the very same day.
They didn't explain how it happened. They just said, once I'm back into my account, to change the email and change the password.
Reddit users reported similar fraud issues, saying, "Just got my ticket stolen for Casey Musgraves in November." Another person posted, "Someone just stole $800 worth of Seahawks tickets from me. I am in disbelief." Some users reported positive resolutions, others did not. While Ticketmaster notified customers of a security incident over the summer, it's worth noting some of those Reddit threads date back 2 years. Ticketmaster told us in part that fans should be aware unauthorized ticket transfers are often a result of poor password management, like using the same password across multiple websites. Fans should use a strong, unique password for their Ticketmaster account as they would a bank account. Van Skyhawk is relieved her tickets were safe and sound and that she got to see sparks fly when Taylor Swift came to town. Again, make sure your Ticketmaster password is different than your email password. And the Real ID requirement looks like it's finally going to happen. That's the updated driver's license or ID card with the little star on it. Soon enough, you'll need it to board a plane. Here's why you might want to start preparing your paper trail right now. Cheryl Russell is back home again in Indiana.
Spent my whole life here until the year 2000.
But she needs a new ID to prove the move. She and her daughter Kathy headed to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. Russell opted to get a real ID since we'll all need it to board a plane beginning in May.
Mom had her real ID in Georgia. It was an active license until 2027.
At the BMV, Russell, who does not have a passport, learned that if your birth certificate does not match your current ID, you need a government document reflecting the name change. In Russell's case, it's a certified marriage license from 1973.
Over a half a century later, all of a sudden, I'm supposed to come up with that? No way.
Certified marriage licenses come from the clerk's office in the county where you got married.
The supervisor told me that he hoped it would be within 30 days, but he couldn't guarantee anything.
The county clerk's office where Russell lives told us they're in the process of digitizing marriage records that date back to 1820. Unintentionally held up some requests, and the clerk's office says it's now resolved. It's not just Russell having trouble proving a name change.
They may have gone by a middle name, but their birth certificate shows the first name, so they need to get that corrected.
Lawyer Andrea Sneeden with the Legal Aid Society, a nonprofit, said they're seeing more demand for help because of the Real ID.
The court wants to see the chain of documents and every name that you've gone by.
Sneeden said if you need assistance proving who you are, start gathering your birth certificate, marriage license, even a naturalization form.
Having those documents ready to give an attorney, it saves us a lot of time.
Helping people plan for their future plane rides. The Real ID deadline, let's face it, it's been pushed back a lot. But this May 2025 deadline seems to be a little more real. So if you've been married, remarried, or go by your middle name, start thinking about that paper trail. And a person looking for work said she was scammed by someone impersonating a real business. The signs to look for if you're job hunting and how to make sure that listing is real.
Moss wall, here's a good example of what we might build.
A plant specialist. That's the job Stephanie Carlson wanted to fill.
We got probably 100 different applicants of really a lot of talented people.
After finding the right person, Carlson closed her post on ZipRecruiter. Weeks later, calls began rolling in about a data entry job.
I was like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. We don't have office data entry. We are plant care specialists.
So she tried to open her ZipRecruiter account. Locked out.
They got into the account, changed my email so that they would get the responses.
The person used Carlson's name, a lookalike email address, and her logo to offer a generous $35 an hour.
This is the employment offer letter that I got.
Sarah thought it sounded like a great opportunity.
Google searched it, looked up Nature's Fire, saw the person's name was Stephanie that owned it.
So she handed over all of her personal information, including her social security number.
I guess I should have called them and said, hey, are you guys really hiring?
Confirming a job posting independently is a must, according to Santiago Torres Arias.
You would think twice before you hand out your credit card information. Now, I want people to think about their personal information in the same way.
Torres Arias said a lot of times scammers are gathering data to sell it.
Think of this as the cybercriminal equivalent of somebody who breaks into a car by smashing the window, grabbing whatever, and running away.
Just last year, the Federal Trade Commission said job scams cost people $286 million. That's more than double what it was 2 years before that. Carlson said it took days to regain her access to her account, leaving the door temporarily open for people to hand over personal information.
ZipRecruiter is a huge company. I think there really needs to be a better, more efficient way to protect the people that use these platforms.
So people looking for a paycheck don't turn into a target. ZipRecruiter did not respond to our request for comment, but the takeaways: watch for unrealistic wages and confirm those jobs independently. That means a call to the company that you find personally online. And if you're traveling with a family over the holidays, getting a good price is important. Here's how to save money on those flights. Holiday airfare often comes with a high price tag.
We see some of the most expensive prices out of the entire year.
Katie Nastro with Going.com said that's why it's important to book now if you can. To save money, consider heading out the morning of the actual holiday.
People are honestly already at their destination, and you can save upwards of 20 to 30% sometimes on average.
It's also a good idea to set price alerts with tools like Google Flights or Hopper. On Google Flights, click Track Prices and you'll get email notifications if there are any changes. You can also look for this colorful badge to take advantage of the Google Price Guarantee pilot program. That means if you buy a flight and it drops in price, Google will deposit the difference into your Google Pay after wheels lift.
It really is a set it and forget it, which we love, but it's not available all the time for every flight that you're looking at.
As for Hopper, that's an app that will push notifications on your phone if ticket prices drop, as well as tell you if a price is good. Another savings hack to consider applies to airfare tickets not considered basic fare. If the ticket price drops after you book it, ask the carrier to rebook you on the very same flight and to provide you with an airline credit for the price difference. While this feature is kept quiet, it's worth an ask, getting you to your destination with a little more money into your pocket. If you booked on Spirit, they recently filed for bankruptcy. While it should be business as usual, just watch your email for possible route changes. And if you're signed up for Medicare Part D, there are some changes coming next year. Part D is the voluntary portion that helps cover prescription costs. This is what you want to look for in your coverage. Many of us dislike surprises. That's why it's important to understand some of the changes coming to Medicare Part D before the December 7th deadline. Step 1, track down your annual notice of change. That's the heads up your provider sends out about the upcoming year. NerdWallet says many plans are ending or merging.
It will likely be around Section 1, and you can see whether you have the same plan, you'll be enrolled in a new plan, or your plan is ending altogether.
Out-of-pocket costs for voluntary prescription coverage will also be capped at $2,000 in 2025.
This can be especially big for people who tend to spend significant amounts on drugs annually or have had some recent healthcare changes.
Another addition that might help with affordability, a new budgeting option that spreads out costs over the year interest-free.
So how people can look at it is like a buy now, pay later option for Medicare Part D deductibles, co-pays, and or co-insurance.
Making sure you're prepared for what might hit your pocket. Reminder, changes need to be made by December 7th. I'm Allison Gormly, and that's What's the Deal? Be sure to check out some other episodes while you're here.